Hello and welcome to all. From the theory that there are other versions of the Squid Game all over the world, to the one that would have us believe that Gi-hun would probably have been recruited as a guard if he had chosen the red card instead of the blue one. Here are the 10 craziest theories about Squid Game. Let's get started. One of the craziest theories surrounding the Squid Game universe is that there could very likely be other editions of these morbid games in other countries around the world. So South Korea would not be the only state to organize the Squid Game, since other countries would also have their own versions of the games in local sauce. However, this theory is not as far-fetched as it seems, since it is supported by strong arguments. Indeed, in the scene where we see the rich VIPs watching the games from their luxurious living room, one of them will say that the games in Korea are by far the best this year. This sentence of one of the VIP men means only one thing. It is that there are inevitably other editions of the Squid Game in other countries, and most certainly also in the United States. The proof being that some of these guest stars, full of money, spoke English with a very strong American accent. Some fans go even further on this track by establishing a flagrant similarity between the Squid Game and the famous Hunger Games, which would be, finally, only the American equivalent of Squid Game. One of the most popular and credible theories among fans of the series is the true link between Gi-hun and the old man Il-nam. It will have escaped no one indeed, and especially not the die-hard fans of the South Korean K-drama, that many similarities exist between the two characters. Because from the beginning of the series, we notice that they are closely linked. First of all, by their numbers, since Gi-hun, who wears the number 456, is the last participant, while the old man who wears the number 1 is undoubtedly the first one to arrive. But other elements, even more concrete, push the fans to believe that there is much more than a simple friendship in the relation between Gi-hun and the old Il-nam, but well and truly a parental relation. This solid theory would like Il-nam to be the hidden father of Gi-hun, and you will see indeed that it is not far-fetched, because among the numerous scenes of dialogues between the two men, some exchanges are practically unequivocal. Thus, when Gi-hun evokes his childhood to the old man, the latter answers him by speaking about his own son. Gi-hun will then explain that he does not tolerate cow's milk, to which the old man, "My son was like you." Another highlight came when the two characters played marbles against each other in a typical old South Korean neighborhood setting. The enigmatic dean of the Squid Game will then reveal to his opponent that he himself had grown up in a place similar to this one, which turned out to be the same case for Gi-hun. Many other subtle winks placed throughout the 9 episodes of the series tend to prove that a paternal link unites the two men. The theory is that Il-nam organized the Squid Game only in order to attract his son Gi-hun to him. If you have watched Squid Game until the end, the last scene will probably have made you ask yourself a lot of questions, and you are not the only one, believe me. The end of this thrilling K-drama has enough to keep us in suspense indeed, because like any cliffhanger, it announces us a very probable second season. We can see Gi-hun getting off the train, walking proudly with the look of a rich businessman, and an impeccable suit worthy of the greatest Italian designers. The only shadow on the picture concerns his hair, whose color has probably turned to crimson red. But what could be considered as a simple whim of Gi-hun, who decided to dye his hair on a whim and as if to celebrate his jackpot, could just as well turn out to be a subtle wink of the beginning of a new adventure for the 456 player. According to a theory developed by fans of the series, Gi-hun would have chosen red because he would like to return to the games, but this time as a guardian and not as a participant. The young man hopes to be able to dismantle this cruel organization from the inside by infiltrating its workings. This thesis is also supported by the cliffhanger of Squid Game, where we see Gi-hun angrily chasing the salesman, this mysterious character who recruits idle players at the end of their tether. The color of Gi-hun's hair is therefore not insignificant and could have a very particular meaning if there ever is a second season of the series. Squid Game is a series where death in all its forms occupies a preponderant place, and we attend throughout its 9 episodes to a macabre parade of corpses and very gory scenes. But if the fate of the eliminated players is sealed in a visible pool of blood, the death of one of the protagonists of the series remains full of mystery for the spectators. As you may have guessed, it is the young and courageous detective Hwang Jun-ho, who was involved in the Squid Game while investigating the disappearance of his brother. Indeed, in the penultimate episode, a breathtaking revelation was made to the fans of the series as we finally discover the true face of the frontman, this mysterious master of the games who seems to control everything. But the shock of the revelation was even greater for the unfortunate detective, since we discovered that the master of the games is nothing less than his own missing brother, and for whom he had embarked on this terrible adventure. In this scene, which accumulates a phenomenal tension, the frontman will invite his brother, the policeman, to join him as an organizer, but this last refused, of course, this indecent proposal. As a result, the young cop will be shot by his own brother before falling into the void without his body being seen. If for many, this sad scene remains unequivocal about the fate of the young detective, some fans believe that Hwang Jun-ho is not dead. And if you have an eye for detail too, you will understand that this theory is not far-fetched, quite the contrary. Indeed, the bullet impact shows us that the master of the games did not want to kill his brother, but only wounded him to make him lose consciousness. If you look closely at the scene, you will see that the bullet hits him in the shoulder, carefully avoiding the heart, like a skilled surgeon. The precision of this non-lethal shot is thus an unmistakable proof that the young detective is not dead, and that this thrilling plot will most likely be developed in the second season of the series. The plot that revolves around the character of Il-nam is undoubtedly the one that has captivated viewers and fans of the flagship series of Netflix, because the one that everyone took for a senile and indigent old man turned out to be in truth a sadistic and perverse multi-billionaire capable of organizing the systematic death of hundreds of people for pure pleasure. Indeed, and at the risk of cheating you, it is indeed Il-nam who is the real organizer of the Squid Game, since he will reveal his true identity to Gi-hun in an incredible twist, which nobody really expected. Even though we have seen many subtle winks, hidden here and there by the director in order to put us on the right track, we have to say that we have seen nothing but fire in this case. From his canonical age to the number he was wearing, to his apparent insouciance in front of danger, many clues should have indeed put us on the spot about his true identity, or at least about his double game. Based on this observation, Squid Game fans have developed a very interesting theory about Il-nam's true fate. Assuming that the old man lied from the beginning, making believe at first to be a simple player, and then to his tragic elimination from the game, it could be that he didn't really die of brain cancer as it is shown to us in the last episode. In fact, it could be that this death is still just a devious trick of the sadistic old man, who still has to prepare a Machiavellian plan for Gi-hun and other unfortunate participants. Many of the theories about Squid Game revolve around what will happen in a second season, which is admittedly becoming more and more likely. But there is one that speaks of a chilling detail about the inexorability of the fate of the poor participants. According to this thesis, the second episode of Squid Game, entitled Hell, not only showed the struggles of each character in the real world, but also foreshadowed their death. The villainous gangster Deok-soo had indeed jumped off a bridge to escape the mob henchmen, which would also be the way he dies in Squid Game, with Min-yo throwing himself off the terrible glass bridge with him. Sae-byuk's character, on the other hand, held a knife to a specific point on a man's throat during a brawl, which would turn out to be the same place where Sang-woo would end her life with his own knife. The charismatic Sang-woo himself was seen at one point contemplating committing suicide by drowning, which he finally did in the finale of Squid Game, by stabbing himself in the throat with a knife in the middle of a torrential downpour. The destinies of these endearing characters were thus sealed from the second episode, like a subtle but frightful macabre wink. The salesman is one of the most enigmatic and mysterious characters of the whole Squid Game series, and questions about his origin or his motivations are still very vague. Although he appears only 2 or 3 times in the whole series, his character has managed to intrigue the viewers and fans of the South Korean series to the point of establishing several theories about him. One of them deserves to be considered since it presents some arguments that hold the road. Indeed, some Squid Game fans think that the sales representative, whose role it is to recruit new players, would have been a former player himself who would have won the jackpot. He would then have decided to stay in this gloomy universe, since he would be forever consumed by remorse for what he had to do to win. This theory will have found a favorable echo within several fan communities until becoming very popular on the internet. But it will be swept away by the producer of the series himself when he will show that the commercial had been in fact a simple guardian of the games before. Another rather far-fetched theory would have it that the VIPs who come to attend the games from their luxurious living room are in fact former participants of the Squid Game and who have all won the jackpot. But this theory, although very widespread on the internet, divides the fans of the series, the majority of which who do not believe in it too much in truth, and neither do we. Because in the series, Il-nam and the VIPs are supposed to be multi-billionaires, but it is not by winning the equivalent of 33 million euros that one becomes a billionaire. Simple question of logic, isn't it? And as always, we saved the best for last with this most famous theory of Squid Game. A theory that reminds us of the famous movie Matrix and its emblematic red pill, since many fans say that the choice of the boxes would have influenced the fate of the participants. Thus, if Gi-hun or others had chosen the red card, they would have been recruited as guards and not players. This viral theory on Squid Game was however dismantled by the director of the series himself, who explained that whatever card the players would have chosen, they would always have had the same role. And that's it for today. What do you think about the Squid Game series and its incredible theories? Tell us in the comments, and if you liked this video, don't forget to put a like and subscribe and activate the notifications. See you soon for new discoveries out of the ordinary.